can't decide if I want to put you right there or right there. I think I like you right there. Okay. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning because I am getting ready to go get my bikini, and I cannot wait to see the bikini. Well, I already saw it, but I'm excited for that. But I'm also excited to see like the progress I have made from the time that I ordered it and now. And when I did go order it, I was coming off of having the flu and I was so sick. And so I wasn't like that excited. And now I'm like super duper excited. Okay. Anyways, I want to talk to you while I get ready about my 10X content experiment, because I had a lot of people, I made a post about it yesterday. I shared a reel about it yesterday. And then I had a lot of people like, what are you doing? Tell me all the things. And so I thought I would break it down for you. And I also want to talk about like the mindset behind it, because that is a huge piece to anything that you do in your business. As far as content, as far as like everything involves mindset. You'll see people say like, you need mindset more than you need strategy, or hey Chas, that you'll need one thing or the other. And I believe that you need both. Like you need the mindset, you need the healing work, you need the identity shifting, you need the subconscious work, and you also need the strategy, and you also need direction, and you also need to take action. Like it is a combined thing, and it's not one more than the other. So, one of my favorite things, you guys know I like challenges, right? And one of my favorite challenges to do is the 100 days or 100 posts in 30 days challenge. I've done that so many times, like I can't even tell you. And recently I had started a challenge where I was like, okay, I'm going to do 5 pieces of content a day. Now that challenge and doing those things they have had their time and their place, right? Like anytime that I feel like I am stuck and frustrated with content, or I'm not producing content like I want to be, those challenges have been in place. However, I've done them so many times, it's not a challenge anymore. And it is basically like me checking something off, and oftentimes that'll feel like pressure. So this is where like the mindset piece comes in. I noticed that when I was just checking off doing 5 pieces of content a day, that it wasn't doing anything for me, and it was just adding in extra pressure. And I already show up pretty much that many times a day. So I needed to come up with something new, and I needed to decide what my intention behind what I wanted to do would be. And so I came up with this 10X content experiment. So with that being said, if you are in a spot where you're not posting content consistently, and creating content is hard, I suggest doing one of those challenges where you do 100 posts in 30 days. If you feel like you have everything to say and nothing to say at all, I suggest doing the 100 posts in 30 days challenge. Like that is a really, really great challenge to start with. It's it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. I don't need it. I've kind of outgrown that. And so I really wanted to go into a season of growth with my platforms, especially after my show is over. But you know, this is how I work. I don't wait for a Monday or a new month or anything like that to start. So I decided let's start something now. So part of this experiment is going to be in August when I'm done with my show, and I'm going to be networking in person and really building relationships outside of social media, because people don't realize this, but that is one of the quickest ways to build a social media full of people who already know, like, and trust you. And so that is part of it. But also I wanted to make sure that when I was out networking and I was talking to people, that when they came to my social media, they could see what I do and who I help and all of the things. And so I really want to expand my social media network also. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? I decided that I'm going to do a 10X content experiment. And what that basically means is I'm not setting a number of times that I'm showing up a day. I'm not doing any of that. I'm basically showing up 10 times more than I normally do. I know, and you're like, okay, well, how are you going to keep track of that? Honestly, I'm going by intuition, and I don't want to set myself up for failure. I want to set myself up for success. And so it might look different on different days. And I'm really testing out a lot of different strategies I'm learning from a lot of different people, learning from a lot of different experts. I'm taking their strategies, I'm making my own, and I'm implementing that. Now, I didn't really set like, I'm going to do this for 30 or 60 or 90 days or whatever, but this is probably something that is going to be going on until the end of the year. And honestly, once it becomes a natural habit, like it's just going to be part of me. And that's the point, like with challenges and stuff, is not to like say, yes, I completed this challenge. It's to make the habits that you are doing become something that you do on a regular basis, that you don't have to have a challenge for, right? I see this a lot with 75 hard. So I did 75 hard last year, and I see a lot of people will do 75 hard and then they stop 75 hard and then they have to go back on it because they didn't actually create the habits that the challenge gave them, or they'll get off of it, they'll gain all the weight back, they will like drop all of the habits. Now, I'm not saying that like when you do a challenge, you need to make sure that like that's the way you're going to live for the rest of your life. 75 hard is not sustainable for the rest of your life. However, if you can be consistent more often than not with the things that you did throughout that challenge, you're going to see sustainable results. And that comes from taking action, and that comes from pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. So, again, there's no real rules or this or that. It's just like focusing on how I can get more of my content out to more people. Now, the mindset behind this, and this came up yesterday when I was on a call with my coach, is I have this thought process that, oh my gosh, if I show up 10 times more than I'm already showing up, people are going to think that I'm chaotic. They're going to think that I'm crazy. They're going to think that I'm attached to my phone 24/7. But here is the truth. The truth is when I do that, when I create more content, it creates more content. Or like when I post more, I post more. It's so natural to me that 10xing my content is not hard. And it's not something that where I'm like on my phone 24/7. In fact, it's like actually easier for me to create more content than it is to not create more content. And what I found was I was forcing myself to show up in a different way because I was worried about what other people were thinking about me, or I was worried that my audience would look at me and say, well, I can't do what she did. But that's okay because I'm doing what works for me and I want you to do what works for you. Maybe 10xing your content isn't something that you want to do right now, and you need to do something else, but could you still learn? Still learn something from me while I'm doing that challenge? Absolutely. There are things that people do that like I have no desire to do or I don't feel like doing, but I still learn from them. There are things that people do where I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do what she does, but I can still learn about her mindset around it, her strategy around it, the actions that she's taking, and maybe I can implement some of those things. I've been talking like a lot about this lately. Like, it is really, really important for you to find what works for you. So many people get frustrated with trying to follow a content strategy or trying to follow somebody else or model them exactly, and they get frustrated because they can't sustain that. But you never know what's going on behind somebody's closed doors. Nobody is the same. Nobody has the same life. Nobody has the same things going on. You have to figure out what is going to work for you and what is not going to work for you. One of the reasons why I wanted to implement this experiment and not necessarily I'm going to post this many times a day is because I also wanted to release the pressure to show up on the weekend. I don't think that showing up 5 times a day on the weekend is like necessarily going to make or break you, but also like for my mental health, like I needed space. And sure, I could batch create content and have it ready for the weekend, but it's just not something that I want to do. I personally do not like batch creating content. In fact, I will create content and I will put it out. So the other day I made like 8, 9, 10 TikToks. I put them all out at the same time. And that's part of the experiment. Part of the experiment is trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work for me. There is no end all be all strategy when it comes to growing a social media brand. And you'll see people and they'll say my way or the highway. And as soon as somebody says that, I'm like, I'm out, because that's, I know that's not true. And I know, and if you love batching, do that. If that brings you more peace and that brings you like to where you want to go and it makes it easier for you to show up, do that. Like, I am never going to be the coach that says my way or the highway, because what everybody has going on behind the scenes is so freaking different. And the biggest part of what I do with coaching is really like helping you learn about yourself. But you have to do what you got to do. Yeah, absolutely. You have to do what you got to do, but you also have to set yourself up for success, right? But I was really holding back from actually taking the action because I was worried about what other people were thinking about me. And not only like, is that an issue for myself and it's holding me back, but it's also projecting shit and limitations onto my audience. And I no longer want to project anything onto my audience. Maybe you are willing to 10x your content. Maybe you are willing to go do the work that I want to do. And so I can't make that decision for you. That's a decision you have to make for yourself. And if people don't like that I'm 10xing my content and they don't want to see my stuff, guess what? It's the internet. They can unfollow me, and that's okay. Yeah, it helps with your 9 to 5 time. Absolutely. And when I had to go back to work in 2017, I talked about this the other day on one of my lives. I actually was batching content. I would batch like just in the morning, but like I did do a form of batching. So, everybody goes through seasons of what works and what doesn't. And the most important thing is there is no failure. There is only feedback. However, if you do not take action, you will never gain the feedback to see what needs to change. So this right now experiment is for me to receive feedback on what works and what doesn't. And once I figure that out and I find like a strategy that's constantly working, it's creating momentum for me, I will follow that strategy for a while. And then guess what? It's not going to work forever. So then I'm going to have to do another experiment to see what works and what doesn't work. And I'm going to have to be constantly and trying new things so that I can then find a strategy that works. And then you're going to have to tweak it. Like, I think we all just think we arrive at this point where everything is just running smoothly, and that is never the case. And I can say that from running businesses on social media. I can say that from running brick and mortar businesses. I can say that from running construction businesses. Like, it's always evolving. It's always changing. The more that you can surrender into that and you can trust yourself to make the right moves, and even if you don't make the right moves, you learn from those mistakes. That's where people that's where they become successful, is, learning to ride that roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship and learning to surrender to it and having a good time while you do it. Like, creating content is super, super fun for me. In fact, like, I was on my mastermind call yesterday and one person said, like, it was funny because she went before I went and she was like, I feel like I don't want to be chaotic. I don't want to be showing up in all these places. I don't want to be like constantly creating all this content and doing all these things. And then when I got up, I was like, well, it's funny that she said that because I do want to do those things, but I don't want people to see me in the way that she said. But when I do show up and I do 10x my content and I do post whatever the fuck I want to post, I don't feel chaotic. I actually feel calmer. I actually feel more peaceful, and I'm actually able to reach more people. And if people don't like it, they don't have to look. And so anyways, that's basically the experiment. The experiment is just me experimenting. There are no rules. I'm testing out a few things. I'm testing out to see what videos are performing. As far as short form video goes, my main focus is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And then those are my main focuses. But I'm also adding in LinkedIn, Threads, and then a little bit of YouTube and my Facebook page. Now, that's going to seem super fucking overwhelming to people. But here's the thing. I've been doing this for so long, and creating content and repurposing content is so natural to me that it's a challenge that I need. So I'm going to be doing that. The other, three, the Facebook page, which is like a Facebook business page, YouTube, Threads, and LinkedIn, I guess that's 4. Those aren't my main focus, but I will be repurposing content on those because I truly believe that when you are in the online space, you need to cast a wide net. Even if you are only focusing on one social media platform, you need to be repurposing that content on all of the other platforms, especially with short form video, especially with, Everybody is in a different place at a different time. If you need to redirect people to your main platform, then do that. But if you're not repurposing your content, which literally can take you 5 to 10 minutes, then you are missing out on reaching a lot of people. And I totally believe in that. But if that's not something you want to do, I'll still support you. You do you, girl. Yeah, so that's basically what the experiment is. I'm excited to see how it goes. I've been sharing a lot of my stories, so if you want to see more of the experiment, go ahead and jump into the stories. I will tell you so far. So like I'm only on like day 3 of this experiment, right? But one thing that I am doing is I am tracking my progress. So I am tracking daily the number of followers that I'm adding to each social media platform. And I like this because I can relate it to the scale. Well, first and foremost, like a lot of the times we actually don't see progress because we don't track things that we can see progress on. So if you're not tracking your engagement, if you're not tracking your following, that sort of thing, like I'm keeping it super simple. I took a screenshot of my Instagram engagement, and I am every single day I'm going in, I'm writing down like the number of followers I have on each platform so that I can see what the trend is. And because we can't go off of the way we feel. If we go off the way we feel, we don't really know like what's going on. It's the same thing like with health and fitness, right? Like we use different ways to track different things. Yeah, the way you feel can be a part of it. However, like to look at the real progress, you got to really track some numbers. So that's what I'm doing. I track followers, saved, and shared in comments. That's awesome. So that's something that I'm going to be doing while I do that. What was the other thing I was going to share? Oh, one thing that I have noticed is that doing Instagram lives has tremendously increased my engagement, and the views on them are really great, even though like when you're live, there might not be a lot of people here. Like right now, there's only one person here. But the views on the lives after I post them to my feed help a ton. The other thing I'm playing with on TikTok is like finding the sweet spot of how many videos to post a day and how many not to. And then also like repurposing content using, I've talked a lot about this, but Opus Clip. I freaking love Opus Clip. I don't know what I said. I love Opus Clip because it, basically I will take this video, I will upload it to YouTube. I don't know, you can keep them listed or unlisted, whatever you want to do. And then I plug it into Opus Clip, and you would be surprised the short form videos that pop out of them. They're so good. So the other day I did it and I posted, that you need to go live. Yeah, for sure. The other day I posted all 8 of them at once on TikTok, and they did fairly well. But then yesterday I did the same thing, and those videos didn't do so well. So I'm waiting to see what happens to those videos in the next couple days, because short form video content has a way longer shelf life than regular content does. So I'm going to see what happens after that, and then just play around with the number of times that I'm posting and the way that I'm posting. So anyways, it's just a fun little experiment. I gotta finish getting ready because I gotta go pick up my bikini, but I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I hope this helped you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.